While Stoke have got injuries left, right and centre, but we welcome the signing of striker Milan Smit, and I think it's a top signing that puts Stoke back in the playoff picture. We welcome the 22-year-old with 6 goals and 2 assists in the Eredivisie for Go Ahead Eagles. A top striker that, for me, I think really adds to what Stoke need. If they want to be in that playoff picture come the end of the season, I think that's exactly what we needed. And looking at the January transfer window and the positions that Stoke probably needed to prioritise more than the other, a striker role was definitely that. I think there's a number of key attributes that he brings to the table that, fingers crossed, Mark Robins and the Stoke City team can bring out of him. Now, I think it is one that Stoke needed to prioritise in this window, with the likes of Divine Mabama and Sam Gallagher out for a sustained period of time, and say the likes of Bosnick probably not featuring for us maybe another month or so. Of course, with his shoulder injury, you do feel that the reliance was always going to be on Lamine Cisse, and or if we could bring in someone else, and we've done just that. Now, for me, I think he is exactly what Stoke need, a target man that's good on and off the ball, has got a lot to his game, only 22 years of age, and as I said, in 19 matches in the Eredivisie, has scored 6 goals and 2 assists, so he knows where the back of the net is, and I think the reliance that Stoke have had on the likes of Sorba Thomas, 4 goals, it then moves away and hopefully can go on him. Now, it is going to take a little bit of time for him to adjust. He hasn't played in any other league apart from the Dutch one, so it is going to be one where he has to adjust, and obviously is learning about what Mark Robins will want from him as opposed to what was needed from him at Go Ahead Eagles. But there will, of course, be a lot of correlations, a lot of what he was doing there. We'll want to see that in the colours of red and white. So I think it's a very promising, exciting signing. It's a loan deal with an obligation to buy. I think that does show you a little bit about the stance that Stoke have got in this January transfer window in terms of bringing in a loan signing and not paying the money for him. I think it was rumoured, there was obviously a lot of suggestion about it being around like 4.6, 4.8 million. You make that signing in January, you do run the line of the FFP and all that lot, and I think that's what Stoke are kind of running a tightrope with, which is why we bought him on loan, and then obviously with the obligation to buy him in the summer. I think that does suggest that Stoke have got one hand tied behind the back in terms of players they can bring in this winter transfer window, but I think loan deals is the way forward, and fingers crossed we see a number of other ones follow him in through the door. But with that being said, the striker role is now filled, and fingers crossed he starts against Southampton. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Lamine Cisse has done an absolute superb job, but I'd like to see him move over to the wing and Schmidt start in the early kickoff against Southampton. So what does he bring to the table? I think that's the key question. Now, as I said, it is going to take a little bit of time for him to adjust. It might not. It might be one where he comes straight in and it is an absolute nuisance, and I think that is what he is on and off the ball, runs himself into the ground. There's a number of times where we've seen it where he's tracked back. Thought Lamine Cisse did a superb job of that against Birmingham, and Mark Robins gave him his credit for it, and that's the same with Schmidt as well. Now, in terms of his height, 6'2", 6'3", around that 1.91 centimetres, I think it's suggested. So he's got the height on his side. He is going to be up there in terms of giving Stoke an outlet to win that first ball. We see it a number of times where Cisse's done well against these tall defenders in the Championship. You've got such tall centre-halves that are always winning them aerial duels, and we're relying on winning the second balls, which at times we have been able to do. But I think he then gives us the option of winning our aerial duels, but also having that link up with the number 10. And I think you look at in the game against Birmingham, there were 2 tall centre-halves that majority of the time did win their aerial duels. But I think it's a superb sign that Stoke have brought in a target man that is good in the air, and I think I've seen people say it is room for improvement in that sense, but is good on the ball, good with his feet, lovely little link up. And can we see a lovely link up between him and Jun Ho, and can he drag defenders out and provide that space in behind for the pace of the likes of Sorba Thomas, of Lamine Cisse, of Milian Manouf as well. And I think there's a lot to his game that he is going to bring, and I think it's going to be an interesting one in terms of how often do Stoke choose to go long. We've seen it a number of times where Simkin, nothing against it, likes to go long, but obviously you're relying on the likes of, say, Cisse or Manouf if he's gone out wide to win them headers, and at times we weren't able to, but then win the second balls. And I think it gives us a much better option and a different outlet up front in terms of winning them first balls and then winning the second balls. He knows where the back of the net is, as I've mentioned, 6 goals and 2 assists in 19 matches in the Eredivisie. I think it is one where if he's played through or had the link up in behind, I think he just is very smart with the finishes, and we're going to have a look at how he's done in terms of his goals in the league so far. But I just think he's one of them where he's going to be a threat in terms of from both ways, with the ball to his feet or in the air. We've got two absolutely great crosses in our team with Sorba Thomas and Aaron Cresswell. Aaron Cresswell's corner, of course, was the one that got us the equaliser in the Birmingham game. And of course, we know how good Sorba Thomas is. Nearly scored against Middlesbrough the other day with two absolutely gorgeous free kicks. It's another player that's got the height on his side, and we really, really, really need to use set pieces as a way of scoring goals. I think that's one of the issues that Stoke have had, finding different ways of scoring goals, and set pieces, we haven't really been able to do it, which has been surprising with the height that Stoke have got on their side. He gives Stoke an outlet in that box to get the ball in. Just get the ball and let's see if he can win his header. And I think that's what Sorba Thomas is going to look for, Manu's going to look for, Cissé is going to look for, and I think it's really good. So he can receive the ball to his feet, have a lovely bit of link up with our number 10 or the wide men, or can he be someone that's in the box, that's constantly in there, that's giving the centre-halves an absolute time, and we get the cross in and hopefully gets on the end of it. I think it's a real top signing, exciting one. Only 22 years of age, got loads to learn, but of course, there's one where you're a striker for Stoke. There's obviously going to be a reliance on him to score, but just allow him to adapt and learn and grow. And I think that's what, at times when you're a Stoke striker, you don't really get the benefit of the doubt. But Stoke have got a heavy reliance on Sorba Thomas to get the goals. He's got 9 goals. I think the one below it is Manuf and Mbama on 5. We've heavily relied on Sorba Thomas to get the goals. Fingers crossed to be back in that playoff picture. We get the goals from him. And fingers crossed, I know that's easier said than done, especially in the Championship, where the games come thick and fast. But that different kind of striker, or that different kind of number 9 is exactly what we need. So, with that being said, let's take a look at some of his goals and assists and why I think this is a top signing. Right then, so we've got this first example here where Go Ahead Eagles are up against Ajax. We know how good Ajax are. So, what I really, really like about this is, so Smit is here. That's Smit there. And we've got the ball that's with their number 10, just there. Oh, I missed it with my circle. Just there, that. There we go. Now, what we love to see is, he scores from this. This is one of his goals that he scores, an equaliser. And I think it's a 2-2 draw that they have with Ajax. But what I really like, and it's something that hopefully we can see with the creativity of Sorba Thomas and Jun Ho, is, what do you expect for him to do in this situation? The ball's with the number 10. He's there. He's free. The defender is only just coming over to mark him. Yet, kind of expect he's going to be wanting the ball to his feet. Maybe takes one touch, tight angle, bit of an awkward angle, and he has a shot on goal. That's probably, if you're looking at this still right now, what he would do. What I absolutely love is his movement. He looks and he finds this space. So as you can see, still here. Still here. He's not moved just yet. But he found the space into here. Now, this comes from a real good understanding of your number 10, what he can bring to the table, how he can adjust and have that awareness. He runs into this space here. And it's so, I feel like sometimes with strikers, they either see it or they don't see it, if that makes sense. I feel like he understood how creative and good his number 10 is. And he just thinks, hang on a minute, how can I play through? And the next still, he finds himself there. And the ball's obviously now just moved. And with Smit, who's just here like that, he's running into that space there. They've got their centre half here, that have not picked him up. And he's just run through the middle. And he's found the ball. And you move on to the next still here. Look at that there. He's got first time volley. And he whacks it straight into here. Their defence, these lot here, absolutely nervous. And gone, how's that happened? And it's an absolutely lovely ball from their number 10. But it's that kind of movement, as you can see. I'll just show you that. There you go. First time volley. That kind of movement. Whacks it in behind. 2-2. That obviously does come with an understanding of your players and play to their strengths. But that kind of lovely little idea is exactly what Stoke need in terms of how can we break down teams that are in a low block or in a mid block. What can we do? How can we find a way of breaking them down, playing through the lines, or how can we find a way of just creating a chance or even a half chance? And I think I really, and I think that's a great example of it. Now, moving on to another one. Ball obviously gets played over to him here. Ball's just moving over here. We've, of course, got... Oh, he's gone. Hey up. Where's he gone? There you go. And then we've got Smit, who is over here. So, what I really, really like about this, and I think from an example of Stoke, that could be Junior Shamadou. Obviously when he's back fit and ready. But high up the pitch, you've got your winger that's come inside. You've then got the space for the full back, which could be, say, Cresswell, Boca, or Junior Shamadou. Or even, say, from a wide sense, which is a lot of these goals have come from that I've looked at. Your man who you saw, Thomas, is getting the ball into the box. But what I really like about this is, obviously, the ball's then moved over to him on the right. He's actually... I'm still a little bit too later on, but he's actually coming for the ball to feet. He's in the middle of the park. What I really like about this as well, from a go-ahead Eagles sense, look at the numbers that they've got in their box. That's what Stoke need. Can we have the winger on the other side getting into the box? Can we get the number 10 in there? Yes, they don't have the height, but can they cause a little bit of mayhem? And what I really like about this is just the finish. Lovely bit of movement. He's then actually asking for the ball to feet. It doesn't come to him. It actually comes to him in the air. You look at where he is, about in line with the penalty spot. Lovely peach of a cross, in all fairness, to get him on his head. He's headed it, and it's gone there, into the back of the net. Absolutely gorgeous goal. Now, that's one thing about how can Stoke find ways of getting goals. Can it come from a cross into the box that causes mayhem? Can it be from a header or something like that? Can it be from set pieces? And I think it's another example of what Smit can bring to the table. Just get the ball into the box. Can he find that half space? Can he cause a little mayhem? Can he cause the centre halves to not pick him up? And I think it's a really good example of it. Second goal in this one. Yes, you look at that scoreline. 91st minute in the game. The 1-0 down. The opponents have got 10 men. It's clearly a counter-attack, and obviously the ball is over here with him. But Smit has found that little bit of space. And what I really like about this one, another one about how he finishes it. You move on, the ball ricochet, little bit of a stroke of luck in there as it ricochets to Smit, who's there. But what I really like about this is, of course, you've got your goalkeeper hey up now. Hey up. You've got your goalkeeper that is, of course, coming out over to Smit, closing him down. You've then got maybe two options. Does he finish it first time or take a touch and finish it? Or does he bring in this guy here? That's another option that he could go for. What I really like about this is he takes the touch and he dinks it. And he just dinks him. And the composure there to fast break, you probably sprinted from over here to then get over here. To take the touch and just go, hang on, I've got the confidence here. I'm going to dink him. And he does just that. And I just think he's probably, don't get me wrong, he's probably getting absolutely screamed at by him. Going, square it. If you play it to me, I've got an empty net. But he doesn't. He absolutely dinks it, whacks it in the back of the net, puts them 2-0 up and ends the game. And I think it's that kind of composed finish. Yes, easier said than done. And I think it's very easy to say, oh, he's going to do that in the Championship. Total different league. However, that's in the 90th minute. I'm not 100% if he did, but if you're playing a full game and he's running the whole length of the pitch and scoring a goal like that, the sky's his limit with it. So next one we're looking at in terms of another goal. In the middle here, there's the ball. Smit is just having a little bit of a wrestling match with their centre-half. The ball then finds its way over to the right. And obviously there he is in there again. Oh, it's gone. In there again. The ball obviously is working its way over to the right. And what I really, really, really like about this is how he manages to lose his man. Maybe it is poor defending, but it is another example of him being in the right place at the right time. He can tell already, there he is, making that run into there, if I can get it, just into here, just into that space there. Now, to be fair, if I'm being totally honest, this lad behind him, is probably in a better position to back post, lovely ball into the box, but it's another one of knowing what your player is going to bring to the table. Smit knows that from this, the fullback is going to play a first-time cross, no touch, first-time cross into the box. Look at the space he's found himself in there. In the perfect position, kept himself onside, and what does he do? Gets on the end of it. And, oh, hey up, I missed it. Hey up now. There we go. And he scored. And I think it's just them kind of things where if you can have that link up with the likes of, say, knowing what Junior Shamadou's going to do, we know how high Junior Shamadou can get up the pitch. We know how attacking he can be and how good he is. How good he is at getting the ball into the box. Moving on to this one. Another interesting one. This one isn't a goal. It's actually an assist. So we've got the player here. 2-0 down, in fact, in this, and Smit is over here. What I really like about this is such a tidy assist that he gets. So what happens is the ball goes into the box, header there, Smit is there. The ball then lands at the feet of Smit. And you look at it, he's back to goal. Realistically, what could he do? As a striker, you've seen it before where he might look at that and go, I could maybe take one touch and try and, in a way, swerve you, but a really awkward angle, but swerve and try to score from there. Striker's instinct. He doesn't. And what I really, really like is he sets it for this man on the edge of the box here. It's one touch, and he sets it, and it's a perfectly weighted pass that gets him. And look at that. There you go. Just like that. There we go. And he puts it, don't get me wrong, absolutely stunning finish from another one of their players up here. But that kind of assist is just, and having that ability is just so good, and hopefully so nice for Stoke fans to see. And you look at it, look at the creative players that Stoke got. That could be Milan Smit there that strikes it. If he lays it off for Milan Smit, how many times have we seen it? If Manu rolls it and shoots, a lot of the time he puts it in the back of the net. And I think if we can have that link up with our striker that provides the goals and the assists as well, gives us every reason to win these games that we're not getting on the end of, that are winning by fine margins. And then this final one is just a little bit of what I like about it. He's obviously, we've got the throw in over here. It's over here. He's got a lovely bit of space. Whiz it on. It goes to their midfielder, or the winger, sorry. He then turns and plays it to Smit. Now, Smit has got probably a number of options as the ball comes to his feet. He could either see the space there, give it him, take a touch, and then eventually lay it off for him. Or he could maybe give it to the feet there. There's probably three options there that he has, because he's then going to get pressed by this man over here. What I really, really, really like about this, and what Stoke will have with the pacey wingers that they've got, he doesn't take a touch. He's running into that space over here, and it's a first time pass that he lays him up, and straight away they're in the attack. And what I love the best about this one, just picked up the ball from here. He's just laid him off and set him away, and you've already got, say, your other winger or whoever it is, if he's a fullback, I'm not too sure, running into the box that's going to be busting a gut. Look at what he's done. What's his first reaction after laying him off? It's to bust a gut, to then get into the box, to then get in that space for him to cross it in and hopefully put it in the back of the net. And I think it's so good that if we can get a player like that maybe just finds that little space with the defender behind, or the centre half behind him, to just play it through the lines and to get it in between the full-back and the centre half, to then set the likes of Manu for Sorba Thomas away. That just such clever movement that I think he's got. You look at it and you know what, it's going to be something that hopefully ends up something very exciting. So I think it is going to be a one that, yes, he is going to adjust. He is going to be playing under a different system or a different tactical approach. But what he can bring to the table from that striker role is something very, very exciting. I think whether it's the ball to his feet or the ball up in the air, he gives us that different outlet. And hopefully we can have more players that come back in that provide him with that quality. You look at, say, John Ho that can play in the number 10, Sorba Thomas, Lamine Cisse, Milan Manouf, but then Lewis Baker as well. I think sometimes tendencies at the moment to not risk it with our passing, not play it through the lines when we're playing against a team that are in maybe a mid-block or something like that and not really pressing us. How can we break the lines? How can we do that? And I think that's what he provides. If say, Phillips or Wilmot have got the ball, he's then going to ask for the ball to his feet, and hopefully can link up with our number 10 or our wingers, and then give us a real good outlet to then attack the team. And I think, you know what? If he can stay injury-free, which I don't know, with Bazunu, I don't know what could happen, but if he can stay injury-free, I think genuinely this could be a top sign, and I really, really hope it does. I think it gives us that different outlet. I think with the addition of Milan Smit, I think it's a real solid one. So hopefully he can kick on. Hopefully he can get us the goals, and fingers crossed we're back in that playoff picture. I think the game against Southampton is going to be one that's going to be another that's there for the taking. Can we take it? Will we see a debut for Milan Smit? I'm not too sure. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.